All right, everybody, welcome back to Behind the Nine. I guess I should say welcome to the back of Behind the Nine. My name is Alan Gustafson. I am the crew chief for the number 9 Napa Chevrolet, and I am with the one and only rear tire changer, hence welcome to the back of the 9, Mr. Chad Avrit. Hold on. El Centro, California's pride and joy, Mr. Chad Avrit. So what's up, buddy?
Not much, boss. How are you?
Good. So I got to start off. I got to admit, I had to get the Google box out to Google El Centro. So
Yeah,
you're down there, buddy. You are down there.
I'm as further. I don't know that you can go further south.
No, you're in Tijuana or Mexicali or wherever. You're down there. So Mason thinks he's the street taco expert. I'm gonna have to argue El Centro's probably got some pretty good street tacos.
They do, and Mexicali is not far. And I spent many, many nights down there eating street tacos.
That's fantastic. So uh what does the young Chad Avrit do kicking around the streets of El Centro? So I have been through there. I've been through Interstate 8 and like Yuma, there is nothing. So
Yeah.
what happens? What's the young Chad Avrit doing in El Centro?
Well, you spend a lot of time with your friends and a lot of time probably out in the desert, riding motorcycles and doing fun stuff like that. But yeah, there isn't a lot out there. Yuma is maybe 50 miles away, and it's all desert. It's there's not a lot to do outside of hanging out with some friends, maybe some pool parties because it's getting awfully hot.
The desert scene has got to be pretty good. I mean, the motorcycle scene's got to be great out there, right? I mean, you've got to have tons of room to roam and
Great.
sand dunes and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's what was weird when I came out here. Like people were talking about going like trail riding, like through the woods, and I was like, well, where I live, you just go for miles and miles. It's just desert. You can do whatever
Right.
you want out there. There are no trails, and you just make your own.
The cool thing, along those lines, in my experience is the cool thing about riding in the desert, and I'm not actually talking motorcycles, but like mountain bikes is night riding is fabulous because you can see like lights and you don't have to worry about trees and you can see really well with lights. So that is super fun. And of course, it's not the coolest climate in El Centro, I'm assuming. So the night's probably the time to get out.
It is. Yeah. So we have. I mean, our summers are terrible, but I would say you also have 7 months that are just amazing because in the dead of winter, it's still, I don't know, 70 during the day. Potentially it could be. And then it's going to get drastically cold. There's huge temperature changes between night and day. But the days you could still be in the middle of December with your shirt off getting a tan.
Yeah, and that's spectacular. Certainly jealous of the weather that part of the country. So, how's a guy get from El Centro on a dirt bike to Charlotte, North Carolina, changing tires on a NASCAR Cup car?
Uh, I don't know really. Like it kind of started. As soon as I finished high school, I went to school. I thought I was going to be a math teacher because in Southern California and not too far from San Diego, I decided, well, what can I do and have my summers free? So I can go to the beach and what? So my first thought was to become a teacher.
I like that plan. A math teacher would be a fun gig, though. But I like where your head's at with that.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started. And a couple years in, I kind of started going the automotive route. I'd kind of raced motorcycles, and then I got into. My dad was a big NASCAR fan, so it was on every Sunday, whether we were watching it or working outside or whatever we were doing. So I ended up going to UTI in Arizona, which they have like a full auto, diesel, industrial, all sorts of certifications and whatnot. So I went there for 2.5 years, got my associate's automotive technology, and then decided to check out the NASCAR portion that they offer in North Carolina. So basically, to stay on my parents' dime, I was like, oh,
Nice.
I want to add some more schooling to what I want to do. So I decided to do the NASCAR portion, and I moved out to North Carolina. Rented a furnished room with roommates I'd never met, not knowing a soul, in a little hatchback car, drove out with my clothes, and that was pretty much it. From there, I went to 5 Off 5 On, which was next door to the NTI facility there in Mooresville. And there was another team that was just getting ready to start, which was Red Bull at the time. They were starting a race team and they were looking for developmental people. So I ended up going to one of their tryouts and I got kind of scooped up there and taught how to do pit stops.
So you moved here. You didn't even know your roommates. Do you still talk to these people? Do we know who any of these people are, or they just were some randos that you lived with? And
yeah, it was like I found an ad for a furnished room because I was bringing nothing but my clothes, a laptop, and like this little safe that I kept like my important information in. And, and it was a furnished room on the lake, and I was like, oh, I'll do that. But it was like this modular home, kind of back in Denver, kind of hidden away from everything else. But yeah, I had no clue who these people were. Met them the day I moved in.
Wow, that's a great story. So I'm going to go on record here first saying we had Nick on the show earlier. He's the front tire changer. And certainly for my money, you're the smarter of the two, because if I'm going to change tires, I'm going around the back of the car. I'm not going around the front of the car. Like, that's, first of all, kudos to you. Good choice on that one. So yeah. So hit the ground running. You gotta, the thing that always kind of, I've seen a million pit stops in my day, but the thing that always you pick up really quick is you're having to chase the car down, right? Because you're coming behind this car that's stopping, landing on your knees, going to work. So tell everybody about your a normal pit stop, how that goes in your head and what you're going through, and what you see through your eyes.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm chasing the car. It's coming in, and I'm judging Chase's speed at that moment because I have a specific point where I have to jump off the wall, or I have the opportunity to jump off the wall without getting a penalty, and then it's kind of based on Chase on how fast he's coming in, or those brakes are locked up wherever he's going. But from there, I just chase it down as quickly as I can, jump on my knees like you said, and then from there I've got to kind of calm myself because I just went from like a full sprint to a dead stop, and now it's time to just kind of take a breath and start hitting lug nuts and doing somewhat what Nick does in the front. Hit 5 off, pull the tire, Jared indexes it, I'm hitting 5 more back on, and then like you said, running around the car as fast as I can just to sit back down and do it all over again on the left side. So that's kind of it. 5 off there, tire comes in, tire comes off, tire comes in, 5 back on.
So you do have some significant pitfalls to your job, which I'll express, and I'm sure you can elaborate on. Nick's got the chance to get run over, which obviously isn't very fun. But I've seen you end up in a couple bad situations. I think the first one is when Chase does stop short, you basically just bury that spoiler into the center of your chest, and that timing of you and a 3,400-pound car is not very good.
Yeah, I don't win.
No, you don't win.
It wins every time.
It wins every time. And the second one is if our man John G spills a little fuel and you come around the left rear of the car at 10,000 miles an hour, good things don't happen with that. I've seen you go, it's like hitting ice on an ice skating rink, and I'm like, oh.
The pavement comes quick at that point.
Pavement comes quick. Yeah, so those are two things that aren't very good, right?
Yep. Those are two of the bad ones. And then I would say the final is the car has potential for taking off with your gun still attached.
True.
Your tires spin and the fronts do not.
True. Now we've seen you've been going for lug nuts as the rear tires start to spin. We've seen some bad things happen there. That's true. And I actually learned something. As long as we've worked together, which we'll get into that in a little bit, I learned something from you this year. And I can't remember what circumstance happened, but I was like, hey, something, something, something. And you didn't know what was going on. And it was because when you get up, you automatically spin away from the car so you don't get pelted in the face with lug nuts as he's peeling out. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I got it. Makes sense. So yeah, that's another trick of the trade, right? 9 years. What's your favorite? What stands out to you? What are you like, hey, this is this was the day. This was it.
I don't know that there's just one. Like I think over the last 9 years, we've all had the one each year. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know that there's just one, but it's fun, kind of growing because we like when I started with you, it was with obviously a veteran, a Hall of Famer that it was just amazing to pit for him, and then we obviously had a bunch of wins with that, and then we started with Chase and got his first win and stuff like that. So I think there's just a lot. I don't know that there's just one thing. I think I've enjoyed all nine.
Yeah, I agree. I can't. I can never pin. I was like, "What's your?" It's just so hard to pinpoint, and there's so many good experiences, and I can think of races to me like you're as a team, you work really really well together, and you overcome all kinds of adversity, and you do things, and you finish eighth when you should have finished like 28th, and you're like, man, I can remember a day. Speaking of like that, and I think you remember this. We had that Exalta Emron car with Jeff at Talladega, and we wrecked like 15 times. We fixed this thing, somehow stay on the lead lap, somehow make it around, somehow get it all fixed. Like we rebuilt this car, we finished 12th, and it's like greatest day ever.
Yeah, it's crazy. You never know. I guess that's why we do this because you never know the outcome.
So you're a competitive guy. What fuels you? You love to compete. You know where's Chad's desire? Like what you're getting up in the morning, you're getting ready to go. What's fueling that fire?
Yeah, it's competition for sure, and then having the ability to work with a team. I mean, it's not an individual sport, so the fact that I get to compete, I'm a huge part of the race. And then you've got a group of guys that you're with every day, and you all have the same goal. I think that's probably the best part about it.
Agreed. Well said. I agree 100%. The team is the best part. Being around the people, spending time with people, enjoying that time, the ups and the downs. I mean, the downs are, I think, just as important as the ups because you ultimately, that's how you bond, that's how you grow, that's how you work through things together. So the team camaraderie is my favorite by far too. I completely agree. You're one of the big wake surfers on our team. You like to go do the wake surf thing. You like to do the lake thing. You're also a really big entrepreneur, which kind of tying these things together. At one point in time, you had your own surf shop, which I thought was cool. So yeah, talk about your free time, what you like to do, spend time on the lake, your entrepreneurial spirit, which I'm super envious of. You're always wanting to try to get into something to start a business and grow something and make something your own, which is cool.
Yeah. So moving out here, the lake was kind of one of my saving graces. Like it was a huge culture shock and not having the ocean nearby and stuff like that. So I met a lot of people that obviously we have a huge lake here, and the activities like wake surfing and stuff that I had no idea even existed, which it's relatively new, but it was still going on at the time. And so getting in, I ended up meeting a couple people from California actually, or the left coast, west coast, because one was from Nevada, and there was a few of us that got together and we're like, how about we bring like a surf shop atmosphere to the lake? So we found a place and we kind of pursued that idea, trying to bring a, a coastal little business into a lake atmosphere and see how it went. It was a lot of fun. It was super successful, and I got in and out at the right times, and it was a
You
good
did.
time.
You did. It was a great shop. It had a great vibe. Swell was the name, which was a cool place, and it always was fun to see people rocking the swell swag. And yeah, that was good. To trying to tie those things together, for sure. So the wake surfing still a big part though. You're still,
Oh
which
yeah.
I've always threatened to go on the boat. I need to get on the boat and try wake surfing, because you and Mason and Tony and Matt do it pretty regularly. But yeah, still something you're pretty large into.
Oh yeah. Any free time we have, my kids love it. They're still little, like they get on the board with me because they're not quite big enough to be able to pull themselves up yet. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's low impact. Like you don't have to worry. Wakeboarding, you can potentially hurt yourself pretty good. So wake surfing is like half the speed. So I think that's why people enjoy it the most. You can still interact with the people in the boat because you're right behind the boat, um, and it doesn't really hurt when you fall. So it's one of the best sports out there just to go around if you have access to it.
I made the mistake of saying to Mason, I'm like, yeah, you're into wake surfing. He's like, no, no. Oh, well, I said wakeboarding. I was like, you're into wakeboarding. He's like, no, 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 no. I'm too old for wakeboarding. He's like, wake surfing. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So definitely a distinct difference between the two. So of all your time, so of all your time on the road, all your time with teammates, you got any funny stories for us? You got anything that is worth sharing? You got anything you want to you want to make fun of TJ? I mean, is there any what stands out to you? You got to give us some comic relief.
I don't know if I can do that. I mean, when you're a team, you're a team.
Oh, that's well said, man. I'm baiting you as much as I can.
I don't know that I have any good ones that stand out. I mean, every day with a team like we have, it is a good day, and there's funny moments of each day. But we definitely enjoy ourselves, and we're fortunate to do what we do and have the opportunity to. And that's probably as deep as I can get with that.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, the pit crew. We certainly have the entire team is pretty diverse personalities, and the pit crew certainly has very diverse personalities, which is cool for sure. I mean, TJ's TJ, right? I mean, he's just, I don't even know how to describe it. And Nick's certainly a character, and we haven't had a chance. So we've had John on here, but I can't wait now because your compadre, right? Well, I guess it's both now. He changes. He hangs rear tires and front tires now with new choreography, but he was on the back. Silent Storm. I cannot wait to get our buddy Silent Storm, Jared Erspalmer, on here and see if I can get him to talk. What are the chances that I can get Jared to say anything on this webcast? Do I have any chance?
It's gonna be slim. Like you're gonna have to research your topics because there's a few things you can poke and he starts going.
Nice.
You're definitely gonna need to do some research if you want to get him to speak. Outside of that, it's gonna be probably entertaining by just you talking and him listening.
I'm gonna. Jared has been. I have pushed Jared to the back because I think I have to go through enough people to where I get enough experience where I can know how to make Jared, so he updated his little memoji right on his phone to Silent Storm, and I'm like, hey, what is this Silent Storm? He's like, and he was real quiet, looking at me like, oh, I got it. He's like, that was his name when he played football. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to Jared. But yeah, we do have a really cool group of guys, and unfortunately, I can't get you to rat anybody out and laugh at their expense. But hey, I tried. I did my best, right?
Great attempt.
Great attempt. All right, sweet. So that's it, I think. You got anything else for us? Well, let's talk about your boys. Okay. You got to talk about your boys. You got two of the cutest, craziest little guys. You like to come hang out in the shop when you guys come, pre-jack the car before the track that you love to spend time with. So let's talk about those guys a little bit.
Yeah, 4 and 6. And all they do, as you see when we take them to the shop,
it's open.
They're wide open, just trying to beat each other up. But it's all in fun. They still listen. They're well behaved, but they are just brothers. Like as hard as you can go, as they're at it.
Awesome. One of the coolest memories is your youngest he fell out of bed and busted his shoulder up, so he had the sling. So in the shop, he takes the sling and he like takes his arm out and he throws the sling behind his head and he just goes and starts sliding like 20 feet down the shop floor because we got those nice smooth shop floor. I'm just laughing the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff.
Fortunately, those young kids, they heal quick. But yeah.
They heal quick, yes. Yeah. Just much tying back into what we were talking about earlier. If you only knew.
Yep.
All right, Chad. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Give us some views, some likes, some shares. Thumbs up. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, fans. And talk to y'all soon.
Awesome. Thanks.